Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be comparing the 2021 Ford F-150 Raptor to a 2022 GMC Sierra 1500 AT4. With all that being said, let's just pop right into the video. Now let's pop under the hoods of both of the trucks. Starting over here with the Raptor, we have a twin turbo 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 450 horsepower and then 510 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 15 around town and then 16 on the highway. And this is the only engine option available with the Raptor. Now popping over here to the GMC Sierra AT4, we have a 3-liter inline-6 turbo diesel that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. It's good for 277 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy with this powertrain is 20 around town and then 23 on the highway. There is another engine option available here with the AT4. It's the naturally aspirated 6.2-liter V8, also goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission, and that particular engine is good for 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy on that engine being about 15 around town and then 20 on the highway. So that engine would be a little bit more comparable to the Raptor, but the fact you can get multiple powertrains with the Sierra is pretty cool. But anyways, that's everything for under the hood. Now let's go over the front ends of both of the trucks. We're going to start over here with the Raptor again. So we have the cool kind of like venting slash accenting, whatever you want to call it, here at the center with the Raptor logo. And then we've got the decals here on the hood. Notice how we have the LED accent lights that are finished in orange. We have the marker lights because this truck is wide enough that it needs them from the factory. And then notice how we have the Ford logo here with the camera there at the bottom. Parking sensors integrated here to the front. And then we do have the tow hooks. And then you guys can see the protection here at the front that continues there to the skid plate. And yeah, overall, that's the front end of the Raptor. Now popping over here to the AT4, you notice that we have this accent piece right here. And then we do have LED accent lights that go around the lights on the AT4 as well, with the reflector LED lights for the headlights, fog lights down below. I guess I should have mentioned the Raptor also has fog lights. You can see that integrated into that portion of the bumper. Parking sensors here on the front end of the Sierra with the tow hooks on either side. Got the GMC logo with the camera there just down below the logo. And yeah, that is everything for the front ends of both of the trucks. Now moving a little bit closer, let's get into the tire and wheel setup. So first off, over here on the Sierra, we have 18-inch wheels. On the Raptor, we have 17-inch wheels. We've got 33-inch tires on the Sierra, and we have 37-inch tires on the Raptor. The Raptor comes standard with 35s. 33s are the only tire size you can get here with the AT4 package. And then looking at the design here on the wheels, you can see here, this is kind of more, it still has like an off-road type look, but it's more tuned towards a luxury look, whereas on the Raptor, they've gone all in with the off-road look, and these wheels are beadlock capable. And then moving back to the Sierra, you guys can see the front suspension here. Now this has Rancho shocks from the factory. It's got a 2-inch lift as well compared to a regular Sierra. And then as for the Raptor, it has the live valve from Fox from the factory. You guys can see it sits quite a bit higher than a regular F-150. And then you guys can see the oversized fender flares here on the Raptor. And then here at the Sierra, it's a little bit more flush with the bodywork. We have our Carbon Pro Duramax badge right there. And then we have a venting piece right here on the Raptor. Notice that both of these have off-road type side steps, which is fantastic. And you guys can see the difference here with the mirrors and then also the mirror height. The mirrors on the Ford sit pretty low because of how they actually have their window design, whereas this has a more traditional window design. So if you guys are wondering, in terms of height, they're pretty close to the same. The Raptor, as you can see, is a little bit taller, but when you actually just see these trucks in person next to each other, both of them look, you know, pretty much equally massive and aggressive. And then popping here a little bit further down, you can see the Raptor with the widened fender and then the massive fender flare, and then the Sierra. It actually is a little bit wider there in the back with the fender itself, but the fender flare is tucked in pretty neatly. And then we've got another big difference. So here with the Sierra, we still use leaf springs, and you can see another with view of the Rancho shock. And here on the new Raptor, we have the 5-link coil suspension, and then there's a better look at the live valve with the truck. Now here are the key fobs for both of the trucks. This is for the Ford, that is for the Sierra. Notice that they have all the same functions on them. So we'll drop down the tailgates with both of them. And if you guys are wondering, from a payload capacity perspective, 1,484 pounds, 1,304 pounds. So the Raptor has a little bit less payload. And then towing capacity, this is about 8,800 pounds. That is a little bit over 8,000 pounds. So this has a little bit more payload capacity and a little bit more towing capacity as well. Now, the next thing to go over here with the Sierra is this one is the Carbon Pro, so it has the carbon composite bed, and it definitely has a super sturdy feel to it, I will say that. And notice how it tells you how to properly do fueling up here if you're going to put like fuel tanks in the bed, which I think is kind of funny. This does have a power outlet here in the bed, and then this does have the whole bed step system. I did like show this whole system in my regular Sierra review, so if you haven't seen that, then just go watch that so you guys can see me kind of like unlock this whole thing. I'm not going to do that for today's review. Now you do have to lift up the tailgate here in the AT4 all by yourself because it has that crazy multifunction tailgate. Now popping over here to the Raptor, this has like all the measuring tables here on the back, and it does have Ford's bed step system or tailgate step system. So both of them have like tailgate step systems. This is a little bit of a lighter unit though, but it's not as like cool in its display and all that fun stuff. We still get a power outlet here in the back. Now this one doesn't have a bed line or anything like that from the factory. It is like a $600 option if you want to add it from the factory. And then this one does have a raising tailgate. So even though it has the bed step, the tailgate still will automatically pop up, which is pretty cool. Now let's finish things up with going over the style cues here in the rear. So you guys can see here with the GMC Sierra, and then you've got the AT4 badge, and then we have the C-shaped LED lights here in the back, bumper steps, parking sensors here along the rear with the receiver hitch just down below at the bottom, and then we have these squished exhaust tips here as well. And that's pretty much everything for the Sierra. Popping over here to the Raptor, got the giant Raptor decal, have another marker light here with the LED taillights. You've got the giant Ford logo there on the back, parking sensors with the bumper. You've got the oval exhaust tips here, and then you've got the recovery hooks on either side with the truck. And overall, you guys can see a little bit of a difference with the style cues on both the trucks, but they both have kind of like that boxy, aggressive design. This is definitely boxier, but both of them kind of go for that more boxy design, if that makes sense. Well, I've got these trucks wedged in here pretty tight, so I can't open both the doors at the same time. So yeah, anyways, you guys can see here with the padding and then the stitching that goes across with the AT4. And then you've got that off-road side step. And then here are the seats in the back. Notice how we've got the brown leather here with the perforations. And then you got the behind-the-seat storage. And then you guys can see everything down here. And then the under-seat storage with that. And then the floor mats. And then we've got a couple cup holders here, and then down below we've got the USBs, and then the 12 volts, all that fun stuff, and then that pulls down to be even more cup holders. And yeah, that's pretty much everything for the Sierra. Now, popping over here to the Raptor, you guys will notice quite a bit of a difference in terms of what they do with the door panel. So you've got this nice padding here, and then you have this up here, which isn't necessarily nice to touch, but it looks pretty cool. Orange stitching that goes throughout. Got the cup holder right here. I guess I have a bunch of stuff here on the seats, so we're going to throw that off. Also, mud flaps for the T-Rex coming to a channel near you soon. Thank you, Rock Blocks. But anyways, you guys can see here with the seats, this one has the blue seat package with it, so you've got the orange stitching throughout, and you got the Alcantara in the center of the seats, which is definitely harder to clean, I will say that, but it looks really cool. Rubber floor mats. And then notice we have heated seats here in the back. We've got all the charging ports as well. That pulls down to be some cup holders, which is definitely nice. And also legroom in both of them is pretty much the same. So there you go. And here's the door panel at the front of the GMC Sierra. You can see the design here in the front is identical to what you have in the rear. And we've got all of our window controls, the mirror adjustments, and then these mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. Got our AT4 badge right there, and then here are the seats with the AT4 embroidery, and you can see again with the brown leather and the perforations and all the stitching all throughout. Power adjustments here on the side of the seat, and then you can see the pedal layout just down below. Got our parking brake right here with our light control, fog lights, cargo light. We have our drive line select with our tow haul mode, and then our drive mode select on the other side, and we're going to pop in, get a little bit of a tight squeeze. Bada bing, bada boom, start it up. So here is the steering wheel and the AT4. You can see we've got the nice contrasted stitching. We have all the controls to the center stack, voice command, phone controls, heated steering wheel button, and this is all for the cruise control on this side, radio controls there on the back. turn signal slash windshield wiper stalk, and then we've got the column shifter here with the buttons to manually shift the transmission if you want. And then here is the center stack. We got the tow haul mode, and then we have a few different drive modes. So we, well, now they'll pop up: off-roads, normal, and sport. And you guys can see the whole screen layout here with the truck itself. I think it looks really good with the analog gauges and on the screen there in the center. Here's the infotainment system. First off, the thing I want to go over is the camera part of it, which is really good here in the Sierra. It's got a full 360 camera, which is just really good with the resolution, and then all the different viewpoints you get here with this camera as well. Just really solid stuff. So yeah, I think that GMC has nailed it, or GM rather. But yeah, really good response time on the screen. It's got Apple CarPlay, has Android Auto. The sound system in this truck is really good. I guess we'll comment, sound system to sound system, they both sound equally good. I don't really have a favorite one over the other between this and the Raptor. Down below, we've got analog controls here for the radio. We have our analog controls here for the climate system. It has a dual zone climate system. And you guys can see we've got heated and cooled seats here for the front passengers. And we have a bunch of controls here. So lane departure, parking sensors, auto stop start, tailgate drop down, hazard lights, stability control, outlets, hill descent control, and then trailer brake controls. And then you guys can see all the charging ports. Wireless phone charger right there. A couple cup holders here, and then you got the whole center console set up. And then you guys can see this whole setup right here at the glove box. Nice padding here, and then we've got the camera mirror, which is definitely nice. Power setting window there in the rear, which is another nice feature to have. But anyways, let's head over to the Raptor. Now here's a door panel at the front with the Raptor. You can see it's identical to what you have in the rear with the Raptor. I actually really like it, and the padding's nice. And then you guys can see all the window controls here with the mirror adjustments, memory seats. Do have the mirrors with the blind spot monitoring, and then the little bit of carbon fiber trim. It says Ford Performance, and then here are the front seats. They're really comfortable. They have the speakers there in the headrests, and then you guys can see the Raptor logo and then the bolstering and everything. And like I said, I really like these seats from a comfort perspective and all that. Got your adjustments on the side of the seat, pedal layout down below, pedal adjustment, light controls, mirror lights, all that fun stuff. And pop it in, start her up. Boom, Raptor. Anyways, here is the steering wheel in the Raptor. You can see it's definitely quite a bit fatter than what you have in the GMC Sierra. Notice we have the orange stitching here in the center. You got the Raptor logo, giant paddles here on the back to shift that 10-speed automatic yourself. This has adaptive cruise control. Safety tech wise, they're pretty much identical. However, this has Ford's Blue Cruise, so it has that self-driving that the GMC Sierra doesn't have. The new Sierra will have Super Cruise, which will be identical, but that version of the GMC Sierra doesn't have that, so I guess I'll mention that. This has a bunch of selections for like the steering, suspension, exhaust, and then the drive modes as well. I'm not going to dive into all of that. I've gone over that in my Raptor review, but just know you can pretty much adjust everything on this truck. We'll at least get in the drive modes because we went over those in the Sierra. So we have our normal, we have deep snow, sand, we have Baja, we have rock crawl, and on the other side we have our sport, we have our tow haul, and then we have our slippery as for the drive modes. And it does kind of change things with the gauge cluster. This does have a fully digital gauge cluster, as you can see here with the Raptor. I think it looks really cool. Some people hate it. I'm a huge fan, and I mean GM is going for a full digital gauge cluster for the new Sierra, so just kind of a sign of the times. Anyways, up here we've got this for the auto stop start. That's for the cameras, the parking assistance, hazard lights, stability control, and then that's kind of like your cruise control for the off-road pretty much. And then this has a camera system that I think is pretty much just as good as what you have in the GMC. It does take up this whole screen, so I guess the camera view is bigger than what you have in the Sierra, but all the viewpoints are pretty much the same. Resolution with some of these cameras isn't as good as what you have in the Sierra. I will say that like this bed camera doesn't seem like it's as good as what you have in the Sierra, but most of the camera viewpoints are pretty much equal in my opinion. As for the 12-inch display, response times great. I actually prefer the setup on the Sierra though. Like I think that this is easy to use and it looks cool, but the Sierra is a little bit more user-friendly with how they have the tabs and everything set up. But this is still a really good infotainment system. We've got the Pro Trailer Assist, trailer brake controls, and then our drive mode select, drive line select, and then we have the locker for the rear. The Sierra does have a locker, but it's automatic. That's why there's not a button for it, whereas this you can lock it yourself, which I think is preferable for someone who off-roads. And then we've got our analog controls for the radio, climate controls. This has heated, cooled seats, heated steering wheel for the front, dual zone climate, all the same stuff the GMC has. Wireless phone charger just like the Sierra, and you can see all the charging ports. We have the shifter for the 10-speed automatic, which I prefer a shifter like this to a column shifter. That's just my personal preference. Couple of cup holders. We have the whole center console set up. This one has the workbench center console you can get with the Fords. Storage space with both of them is pretty much equal. And then this has a dual glove box, just like what the Sierra has. So that's pretty much all the same carbon fiber. And then you guys can see the material use here with that. No camera mirror or anything like that. We do have a bunch of auxiliary switches, which is definitely positive. This does have a power sliding window. And then this one has a full panoramic sunroof. Now let's get into pricing with both of the trucks. So first off, the AT4 starts at about $56,000. This truck is optioned out to $65,000. The Raptor starts at about $65,000. This truck is optioned out to about $82,000. So there is quite a bit of a price difference. Basically, a loaded up AT4 is the same price as a base model Raptor. Now let's kind of sum things up with our comparison between this 2021 Ford F-150 Raptor and the 2021 GMC Sierra 1500 AT4. And I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below which truck you would pick and why, as always, and I'll see you guys